Yo, what's going on, guys? That's Big Gaming back once again in GTNH, now episode 22. And today we're at a new section of the base. This is the farming area, and this will extend out probably like forward a lot more, maybe not to the sides much more. But yeah, that's kind of the vision, is just to put all the farming in the front here. I have like a grass platform down here as well, where I'm trying to essentially make a little forest down here just so it's a bit more homey. And then I could also put like witchery stuff down here or something maybe. We'll see. I also rebuilt this little cylinder here. I like this a lot from the base that I had last time, so we built it again. And we have a little bit of a room here. Not sure what'll go here exactly. Probably some kind of like monitoring station or like deep storage for the crops. So like all the products can maybe go in like super chests down here. Maybe the processing room for the stuff is right here. Is to be determined as well. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty boring today. I need to do a ton of crossbreeding. For you, it'll probably just be a couple cuts. Maybe I'll live stream some of it. I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to get to. Some of the stuff I'm interested in is stickweed for rubber, sugar beets for sugar, which is oxygen and carbon, salty root for chlorine, black stone lily and yellow stone lily, blaze reed. There's like a lot of stuff that I want. And we're going to start going for it. Now, I'm just trying to remember the way that I used to do this. I guess I would just go in a grid. You just want to get as many plots as possible for crops to jump, and I don't have any crops, so we're just going to go with sugarcane. And then we're going to start breeding them together and just hoping that we get mutations, which is a part of the game for sure. Now that some of their crops are growing, the fun part begins. We're going to babysit all these crop sticks. And then it's kind of just like a game where you just constantly are looking back and forth and seeing what's going on. So in this case, a reed grew that's 304. Resistance is the worst stat. I don't want that guy at all. And then this is what you need to be careful for. This is a weed that grew. You got to kill those, or otherwise you're going to mess up all your crops. So this is the game. And I'm making a pretty big plot because I know I'm able to manage it. And of course I mess it up right when I say that. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be doing a lot of running around. Super early on, I got really lucky. I got black stone lily already. This is one of the ones that I really, really wanted. And I also have white or gray stone lily and then a red stone lily right here. They all came up at the same time. These two aren't as good. This one's going to give me, I just believe, regular stone dust. This one is red granite, which is like okay, but if you have the black, it doesn't really make much of a difference to have that. So in order to actually grow this, I need to get black granite to put beneath that, which I could actually do because I've been getting this abyssal stone. I think I could turn this back in with a chisel, back into black granite. Yeah, I can. Yeah, we'll do that. I didn't need to make a stack of it, but yeah, this is perfect. I already had it. Okay, so this should be able to grow now. And then, because this is a crop that I really want, I'm going to try to make it jump to an adjacent crop stick. So I'm going to replant these reeds. And we're going to try to like just crossbreed with this guy on its own. So I figured I'd give a small update. I've been at this for a while now. I have yellow stone lily over here. I'm working on propagating these. I want to get a whole bunch of seeds of that. I got lucky and got salt root pretty quickly. We can almost break some of these. They're almost grown. This is, I've heard, pretty hard to get, but I guess I just lucked into it. I'm growing another wort here with a snow block beneath it. That will transform this into a Terra wort, which I really want because it acts as a milk bucket, number one. So when I move my super tanks, I can just eat that, and it's stackable. And number two, it's a great source of aurum, which is an aspect that I want more of for crafting. Over here, I have a glowing earth coral. I already have enough of these. I'm just trying to like crossbreed off of it for now. Try to stat it up a little bit. I don't really think the stats are all that important at the moment because I can just go wide and make a big field. Belladonna. I don't know what that is. But I figure I could just make like a big field of low stat crops and it'll be fine for now. Like I have plenty of space here as we can see. This is going to be an HV crop manager, so it's going to be able to cover this whole area. So there's no problems dealing with all that. So if I just put a bunch of like 000s, like 100, I really don't care. It's going to be enough for my purposes at the moment. Because right now I don't need high efficiency. I will get the efficiency later on. Because I'm going to be making a crop bot to automatically stat them up for me. That'll come way later. But yeah, I have almost everything that I want already. I need a couple more. I need to get sugar beets, 100%. I also want to get stick reed and then blaze reed possibly. I don't need blaze reed right now. And I probably could just farm vanilla blazes if I still wanted the blaze powder, but like, I don't know, I kind of don't want to farm mobs. Okay, I'm a bit impatient with the crops. I've been going for quite a while and I haven't gotten my sugar beets. So we're going to make Swede, which if you do Thaumcraft, it's not that hard to do. It is 2 Modus and 1 Victus, and then you throw in a grass. And you get that. So I've split up into 4 different crafts. The 2 Modus is from long polyethylene rods. That's basically nothing for me. And then the Victus I got from these berries. I think I have them over here. So the berry has 1 Victus and 1 Messis, I believe. Yeah. So I just stored the Messis for later. I know I'm going to use it for something, I just don't remember what. For my farming station, I'm making unstable tools. These guys will not break, like, ever. And I figured I'd make 2 of them, just because I probably will need another one later. And it's better to just make it while I'm in the brain space to make the unstable ingots. So there we go. And here we go, super straightforward setup. So the Swede actually spreads on its own, so you don't need to do that many of them as I did, but it's not really that much of an expense anyways. Yeah, these are supposed to be on grass, but I put them in here and tilled the land. It doesn't seem to be negatively affecting it, but it's fine. And there we go, getting sugar and sugarcane. Now, we're not going to automatically deal with this at the moment, but this is a pretty good recipe, so we'll just keep buffering it up here, and then we'll go deal with it when we need to. So, yeah, you get 25 oxygen out of half stack of these, which is pretty nice. Eventually, you'll be able to get the multi-block electrolyzer, and then that's where the really good stuff comes in. Yeah, we can't quite afford these at the moment. It's a lot of tungsten steel that I don't have, so we're not going to worry about it. We put our auction tank over here. I'll fill this up manually. I'll make a little setup right here as well to fill it in a more automated way. But yeah, for now, this will boost our output to 6,100 and something EU per tick, 3 amps of EV for each of them, which will fill up my battery a lot quicker and use a lot less fuel. And I mean, if this runs out of oxygen, it runs out. It doesn't need that much. According to Tooltip, it's 40 liters per second of oxygen. That's not a lot. So I mean, this should last quite a while. And this doesn't run very often at the moment. It will start running a lot more pretty soon once I get more machines online, but by then we'll be able to P2P automate it and run cables over there and stuff like that. So for now, this is good. At the moment, my biggest overarching plan has to be to eliminate my reliance on the old base. As I'm constantly flying back and forth, I moved the portal away a little bit from where I usually work on the AE system, just to try and force myself to make it a bigger problem, so now I have to run a bunch more blocks. But my vision right now, I'm going to move my workshop, my like whole like HV machine area over to this wall right here. I'll make like a 4 high just block of machines. And this will be where I can work. It'll be right next to my AE system. I'm going to move them all over to here. I have a couple machines that I want to make to fill in the gaps, because there's some stuff that I only have in LV that I don't have here. And actually some stuff that I only have in Steam, which is kind of funny still. But yeah, I want to get all the machines right here so I can just work in the time being. And then when I finally can get to automating the crafting, we're going to go and do it. Another thing that I want to do is I want to get my crops growing. So I have this crop manager HV batched out. Let's make this. Okay. And this guy is going to go over in this area. So this right plot kind of ended up being my crossbreeding plot, so I'm not going to put it there. We're going to put it on the left over here where I'm growing my stuff. And then for now, we're just going to put it in the center here. I think you can put it above or below a little bit, and you can get 1 extra plot, right? You can harvest 2 block levels above and below. So yeah, we'll put it above, because I want to be able to see it. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to get a battery buffer to stick on top of this, and I'll just bring the batteries over and run it when I want to. I can't afford to run cables that far right now. The other thing that I have ready is a reservoir. I believe it's called that in this. Yeah, so this reservoir, it's going to give me an infinite water source. And then this will be how we just get our water over to the crop area for the moment. Until we can get P2P tunneling, which I'm going to do very soon. As we can see here, I have my network tool, my advanced memory card already. I want to be doing that ASAP. Right now, it feels like a great time to move on my machines. So let's do it. I'm hoping that this will be enough room. I think it is. I'll probably throw a couple EV machines in here as well, like higher up on the list. Or not list, but like the wall. That's how we're going to run it. So I guess like stuff that isn't used as often, we'll go over like in the side, in the corner maybe. Like what am I using a fluid heater for? Whatever, it's fine. And if I really want to, I could do item pipes in the bottom to put all the items to a chest. I'm happy with this. There might be a couple machines I'm missing that I'm forgetting about. There probably is, like an electrolyzer, but like why? I don't need that very often. I made a new extruder as well, an HV one, so I got to bring all my patterns over now. Yeah, this should be pretty good. On the chests, or I guess on the bottom down here, I'm going to have chests down here. These are going to be like just automatically sorted, so I'll have like an item pipe that just goes straight to the chest. And then that'll help me sort of keep organized for all the outputs and stuff. Because these all very commonly have large batches, stuff that's on the bottom here. So I'll throw like hoppers around when I need to, and chests down here as well. So yeah, this should work out pretty good. This will tide me over so I can get auto crafting for sure. And speaking of large batches, this is my batch wall that I'm working on. So this is stuff that I'll just be dropping a whole barrel of and just letting it go. I originally wanted to build this by the farm itself. That doesn't make sense though. I'm not going to run a power cable that far right now. It's not worth it. So let's bring the stuff over to here. So I'll just move the barrels back and forth whenever they get full. That makes sense. So this is like pretty much... I'll transfer the glowstone. I want to keep some glowstone, obviously, so I'll transfer that back and forth. Maybe take a spare barrel for myself and then keep going after that. And then these are the outputs over here. Don't really need to be there, but that's just where they landed. And same goes for the ilmenite setup down here. I should actually refill this. It needs to probably continue going. Oh, I see why it's not working. I'm out of cells. Yeah, I need to keep this ilmenite going all the time. This titanium is a big limiting factor for what I want to do at the moment. I'm wrapping up a pretty big craft right now. I'm making 16 HV energy hatches. I think this is the best way to do this right now because I'm not going to be using a lot of EV power. It's a little bit too expensive. And then it's also expensive to make the hatches still because I need to get a lot of tungsten for that, which is just not really happening right now. Okay. So this is a new machine. Got the multi-smelter here. And I'll put like a little scaffold around it so that it's not floating, but this guy's going to help me smelt stuff better. So my gold dust over here that I'm getting is going to be going in here. And I'm just going to hook it up and get another battery buffer. This only does 8 parallels right now. I only have copper nickel coils right now because I ran out of mica, but this is fine for now. We'll get away with it. Enough beating around the bush. I think I'm ready to apply Energistics automation. And I finished this quest over here. It's actually giving me a free terminal, so we'll take that. I feel like I usually have this one on the left. I don't remember. This feels right. And then there's definitely going to be more on the top as well. Like my arcane terminal and a fluid terminal. And then probably even more after that. In other news, chrome's no longer a problem. It never really was for me this run, but now it really isn't. So this chromite, 7 of it makes you 2 chrome. I have like stacks of it, so we're going to do a whole bunch of it right now. Give this thing a little bit of a break from ilmenite. Time to get real about automation. Let me get all my tools out. So this is probably going to be my new like toolbar layout. I've always had this first bar kind of empty. But this is going to be the future. So yeah, P2P tunnels. If I remember how to do this correctly, this should go pretty well. I'm going to be pretty stretched for channels in the beginning. It's going to be a little bit rough, but later on it'll get a lot better, and then we can improve things quite a bit. I guess we'll just do something like this. This is more than enough P2Ps for the time being. And then I got to give this power on its own, actually. So I'm on a quartz fiber. I don't have any of that. Of course I don't. Why would I prepare? So there you go. Now you can power the system without breaking it, because if you don't have this quartz fiber here, it's gonna go red, which is not gonna work for us. And then another new thing that I learned, So if we use the network tool on this, glass cables are free on the system. I'm not sure if the covered cables are. I would assume that they are. Maybe the dense cables aren't. But these are free. So is an energy acceptor. So I took a long glass fiber cable, which these are like pretty much free. It's just time for me to make it right now. And I put my energy acceptor way over here where my power is coming from. So I don't have my cable loss. I don't need this big cable going all the way over here, which is like 20 some blocks. So that's just a small efficiency upgrade. I could maybe remove this cable, but I'll probably need power over here anyways in the future. I'm also trying to experiment with like details in the floor. I like having like a view into the underground, so this might be something I go with. I feel like it's kind of cool. Maybe not this like border with the corp. I'm not sure what to do with that. And then I want like a big open area here where you can like go down to the underground layer. And then we can maybe flesh out the underground a little bit. Not too much, most likely. But yeah, I gotta remember how to use these now, so give me a minute. Let's take things bit by bit. So the first thing I gotta automate is TFE, or PTFE in total, but TFE is the first challenge. This isn't that bad. I need hydrofluoric acid, methane, and chlorine to accomplish this. Now the chlorine is actually fully recycled, and we will be doing that. I'm just gonna electrolyze the HCl. I don't need a sink for chlorine right now. We're just going to electrolyze it straight away. And you get a little bit of hydrogen out of this. We'll just route that to our hydrogen tank as well. Yeah, methane gas, where are we going to get this from? So this is going to come from a distillation tower, and it's going to come from oil byproducts. So thankfully, we've been stockpiling these. So let's just take a look at an example recipe. I'm going to severely steam crack these, I believe. Or I'll determine the exact one that I want to do. But I'm going to steam crack these, and then they're all going to go to a distillation tower. Probably a pretty tall one, because I'm just going to run all my byproducts to the one distillation tower. It's like pretty tall and has super tanks for all the outputs. But yeah, this is going to get me a whole bunch of stuff that I want. Ethylene, I really want that. Methane, I like that. Helium, I like that. So a lot of stuff is nice from the refinery gas. And then the naphtha, let's take a look at what this is going to give us. And we'll just say we're severely cracking it. I'm not sure. They're all pretty much the same, just the amounts differ what you get. So this one's not giving me helium, which might be a small problem in terms of sharing a distillation tower, but I could fix that. Actually, I have an idea to fix that. I wonder if I can put two output hatches in the same level and lock each output hatch to the different fluid. That would be interesting if that works. Yeah, this is the guy that has to be pretty tall. I think most of these are honestly kind of useless, but we'll grab them all just to have them. Like toluene's useful, benzene's kind of useful, I guess. Like most of these, I don't think they have much going for them. Realistically, you probably just crack it and break it back down for more ethylene and methane, which is actually kind of useful. But that's how we're going to be getting our methane, and by extension, that's how we're going to be getting our hydrogen for the time being. There might come a time where this falls off, and I don't need to do it anymore, or I'm like done with oil. We can redo the hydrogen at a later time. Okay, I did some playing around, and I remembered everything. So number one thing I want to do this time, instead of to better manage my P2P network, I want to try to do single input, single output for these. Because last time I had multiple outputs with a single input. That made things really confusing. I did not like that. So we're going to try to go single input, single output. So this is the storage P2P. This needs to happen for reasons that I'll explain in a moment. But yeah, you need to have a P2P that is not on this line. You want your storage on this network. That's like the main network. This is like your P2P carrier network, if that makes sense. So now let's go take a look over here, and I'll do a small example. I moved my reservoir. So I have my water filling up into a super tank now, so we have a big buffer of water. I have a ME's fluid storage bus on this. So let's go take a look underneath real quick. Let me just break this and replace it, just to explain the method. And also, by the way, I don't have dense cables yet. Once I do, I'll replace these bad old cables with it. But yeah, say I have a P2P now, and then I want to assign this to a P2P on like the main P2P network. So I click on the input. Now the mode that I like to be in is bind to output. So let's read this. Before binding the selected P2P, if an output and the bind target have their connections removed. So let's run that bit through. This is an input. That does not apply. If this was an output, it would overwrite that and make it an input. You don't usually want that. So now the next line, the selected P2P becomes the input while the bind target becomes the output. So I like this because when I click on this, I look for the input that I want, which I'm going to start labeling these a certain way. And then I will just click on the top one. The top one is usually the one that you start with. That's like the P2P that I'm on right now. So I'll click the bind button. Look away, look back. This is now the output. And you can see my inputs over there through the wall. And then there was another line here. The bind target becomes the same type as its new input and is added to the output list. That's just saying that it copies the name and it becomes an output. So now we're taking the channels from over there to over here. And because that guy is on top, is facing a ME controller that has 32 channels. These guys only have 8, but it's okay. You don't really need to upgrade these cables. I like to color them. That's about it. Because you have this thing right here. The network visualization tool. It lets you know how many channels you have and everything. And the smart cables are laggy anyways, apparently. I've never seen them be that laggy, but I'll believe it. I'll believe it. Okay, so now there's 2 layers to this. Number 1, I want to have a fluid storage bus on this because I want this in my ME system. So yeah, I go to my fluid terminal now, and it's there. I like that. I like to have that for stuff just to monitor the usage of it. So maybe it's not necessary what I'm thinking of, but because of that, I want to put my output a certain way. So my output is going to be a P2P tunnel ME, and this is going to allow me to bring this. This is kind of like the same idea over there where you imagine this is like a pipeline, and this is going to be bringing my water where it has to go. So yeah, if I want water for like crafting, like I want droplets, then I can go for a pump on that. So I already have the water droplets in here. I made a fluid discretizer as well. When I was just troubleshooting, I'm like, let me make this and see if it changes anything. It didn't change anything. I don't need this right now, but I will very soon. It's pretty cheap. It's worth going for. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. So this is going to be an input now. This is not linked right now. It's not going to be linked for a little bit. But we'll just name it like water. And then next time I start using the water in chemistry, we'll go through exactly how that works. It's the same way as the other P2Ps, where it's a single input, many outputs. And you want to make sure to just bind them carefully so you don't mess it up. I do want to try to use, instead of having like a centralized fluid storage for the moment, I kind of just want to store them at point of use. And then as I dismantle and rebuild systems, I'll just like upgrade the stuff as I go. Which maybe that's not the way to do it. I don't really know. I could change that decision. I'm not sure. But yeah, also I've heard that the fluid storage, it used to be frowned upon to use the fluid storage cells. I've heard that's not the case anymore, but I need that to be verified. I didn't do enough research in the Discord. But if that's like a valid option now, maybe I'll consider that, because I'm not like in love with the way that this works, but it's fine, I guess, you know? Like, I'm willing to try a different way if there is one, though. I think I have all the materials prepared that I need. I guess I'll see as I go. I also made a steam cracker, or I guess an oil cracking unit. I feel like the name changed, but I could be wrong. This guy will help me crack all my fuels at a more efficient rate. And I'm going to rearrange a little bit. I'm going to wall share these distillation towers, and we're going to see how that goes. Unrelated, I did something by accident. I shift right click and I turn my wrench to line mode. I've never heard of line mode before. What is that? Here's what we got so far. I've been laying out some multis. So these distillation towers are wall sharing now. And then this one is max height, which I believe is 11 or 12. I'm not recounting it. Pretty straightforward what's going on here. So this cracker has a bit of a strange setup that it requires. Input hatch has to be here. This is for steam. The steam's going to come from up top. The quadruple input hatch is going to have all the different things we're going to crack on it. This is coming from these different storage tanks here. So these are all feeding into shuttered pipes into a quadruple pipe. So that's what's happening there. I had to move these output hatches over, by the way. And what I learned now is that the output hatches don't need to be in a straight line, which is pretty cool. You just kind of have them wherever you need them to go. So I put the naphthenic acid off to the side. And maybe we'll utilize that on this as well to like stagger them maybe. That might make for better automation. We'll see. There's going to be some extra fluid hatches too, because I want to assign all the outputs, and I did not determine that yet. Okay, now we got to get steam over here. Thinking of a couple ways to do it. I mean, easiest way is to just put solar boilers on the roof and run a pipe straight down, but that's not thinking ahead for the future. So I figure we maybe should use P2P for it, and that might be what I do. I did use P2P for it. This has to be the correct solution. So I moved some solar boilers here. I'll probably move the rest of them at one point. But I still need a little bit of steam at the old base, so we just took a bunch of them. And yeah, filled up quick. Hopefully that's enough for my purposes for a while. But I could always upgrade it later. Also, I do like the day-night cycle here, because it looks good with the shaders. I don't plan on turning that off, so that's just going to ruin my efficiency of the boilers, but it's okay. Okay, we're making byproducts now. So the good news is we like RNG'd and got refinery gas into the steam cracker at first. That's going to take like forever to process given my buffer. So while this goes for like probably like a couple hours, like a lot of hours honestly, we're only going to be able to buffer up 5 different materials. That's all that refinery gas is doing. The good news is 3 of these are what I want. So helium's good, methane's good, and ethylene's good. I'm like super duper broke in terms of circuits, and I want to get like a little bit of auto crafting going for them. So this is going to buy me enough time to possibly do that, I hope. But yeah, this is all the stuff that I want. I wanted methane again as a reminder for the PTFE recipe. So this part of it is done. I have like enough fluorine. I don't have like a lot of it, but I can make more because I've been making the black granite now, the black granite dust at the farm. So we should be ready to do that. Bad news is that we are out of time for today, guys. So that's gonna have to be next time. But I think we got a lot done regardless. Probably like an absurd amount, maybe the most in an episode. I feel like I've been doing a lot and not recording a lot. I've just been kind of working. So maybe I got to strike a better balance of showing how I set these up. I'm not sure. But I'm proud of what I did today. I think we're doing good. But as always, guys, any suggestions, let me know. I am still learning. I'm not perfect at this. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Have a good day.